Now what is BPT? If there is a triangle and a line from one, okay, let's name it A, B, C. You draw a line parallel to one of the sides or the base, what is called the other side will be called the base, from one point on one side to the other point on other side, such that this and this are parallel. If this line is parallel to this line, okay, we'll name this MN. It means this by this is equal to this by this. Remember, BPT is nothing but this by this equal to this by this. That is all. So AM by MB equal to AN by NC. This is BPT, nothing else. So just remember, BPT means this by this equal to this by this. From this, you can also get this by the whole thing equal to this by the whole thing. But that is not BPT. That is what you can derive from BPT. So remember, BPT is only top part by bottom part equal to top part by bottom part. And the two things, we can get two things from BPT, that is this by the whole thing equal to this by the whole thing. That is AM by AB equal to AN by AC. This is one thing you can get. Another thing you can get is MB by AB equal to NC by AC. Right? But this is not BPT. This is BPT. Alright? So you understood what is BPT? This by this equal to this by this. So any BPT problem, you will have a line that is parallel to one of the side. Now what is converse of BPT? If this by this is equal to this by this, it means this line is parallel to this line. That is all. Opposite. Here they told you it's parallel, so you can say this by this equal to this by this. Converse of BPT is this by this. If this by this is equal to this by this, that means these two lines are parallel. So in BPT problems, either they'll give you parallel or you have to prove it's parallel. If they have given you parallel, you just have to remember what by what is equal to what by what. And if they have asked you to prove it is parallel, it means you have to prove this by this equal to this by this. It's a very simple topic, and now we'll solve a few problems. Learn how to solve BPT, and after this we'll do similar triangles and Pythagoras theorem, and at the end you can learn theorems. So first and most important thing is learn how to solve problems. Alright guys, first problem in BPT, they have said AQ is 3 centimeters, QC is 6 centimeters, AP is 3.5, and we have to find PB. And see, since they have marked this like this, it means it is parallel. Sometimes they'll tell you it's parallel, sometimes they'll only mark it, or sometimes they'll do both. So since they marked it like this, it means this is parallel to this. So what is it? If this is parallel to this, this by this will be equal to this by this. So what will we have? AQ by QC equal to AP by PB. Now we just have to substitute. AQ is 3, QC is 6 equal to AP is 3.5 by PB. This is what you have to find. 3 ones are 2s are. I transpose PB into 1, PB equal to 3.5 into 2, 7 centimeters. So this is 7 centimeters. Now another question. This figure has been given. AM is 2.5 units, MB is 10 units, AN is 6 units, NC is 24 units. They have asked us to prove that MN is parallel to BC. So prove that MN is parallel to BC. So how do we prove MN equal to BC? This is converse of BPT. If this by this is equal to this by this, it means this is parallel to this. So we'll check. AM by MB equal to 2.5 by 10. So 1s are, 4s are. So this is equal to 1 by 4. And AN by NC equal to 6 by 24. So 6 1s are, 4s are. So this is also 1 by 4. So therefore, just write AM by MB equal to AN by NC. Therefore, what is it? MN equal to, parallel to BC. The reason you always have to give because converse of BPT. This is how you will write in the exam. Make it as neat as possible. So this is converse of BPT. This by this is equal to this by this. Hence this is parallel to this. Alright guys, one more problem we'll solve. They have given this figure. The A, B, C, E, D, F they are marked. They have told us DE is parallel to AB. DE is parallel to AB. So this has been told. Alright. They have asked, they have told us EF is parallel to BC. So EF is parallel to BC. And they have asked us to prove. What do we have to prove? DF is parallel to AC. So we have to prove this is parallel to this. So in which triangle does this come? Just check. This triangle, right? This triangle. If we have to prove this is parallel to this, what does it mean? We have to prove this by this is equal to this by this. Since we do not have anything here, we'll mark it as O. Let this point be O. And please make sure that you do the diagrams when you are solving in your papers. Because if you are marking it at O and there is no diagram, you might, some teachers might give you consider it as a mistake and cut marks for that. So it's always better to do the diagram in the paper, because you might take it as O, somebody else might take it as something else. So now we have taken O. So how do we prove these two are parallel? We have to prove this by this equal to this by this. So how do we prove this by this equal to this by this? Now they have given us two things. Guys, now remember one more thing in geometry. Anything that is given for a reason. If you are not using something that has been given, it means you are doing the problem wrong. For example, if I use only this and prove this, it means I am doing something wrong. Or if I use only this and prove this, I am doing something wrong. If they have given me these two things, it means I have to use these two things. Otherwise, if I am not using both of them, we have done something wrong. Alright. Sorry, I dropped my pen. So since they have given us these two, we'll see what happens. Like we'll see how to solve. Now they have given us DE equal to AB, right? So DE and AB come in this triangle, right? In triangle AOB. Can you see it? In triangle AOB, DE is parallel to AB, which means what? If this line is parallel to this line, this by this will be equal to this by this. So what do we get? OE by BE or EB, whatever, you can write it as EB or BE, equal to OD by AD or OD by DA. This is the first thing we got. Then in triangle, what have they given us? EF parallel to BC. So they given us EF parallel to BC. In which triangle does it come? OBC. If you can notice, this is what you have to search for in exam, like in when you are solving problems. So in triangle OBC, what do we have? OE by BE equal to OC by, OF, this is F, OF by FC. This is the second thing that has been given. Now what do we have? OE by BE is equal to OD by AD, and OE by BE is also equal to OF by FC. So this is equal to this, and this it is equal to this. Therefore, this will be equal to this. Why? Because this and this are equal to the same things. If you remember from 9th standard Euclid's geometry, things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. So how do you write? From 1 and 2, OD by AD equal to OF by FC, because of Euclid's geometry. Why? Because both of them are equal to the same thing. So we get this by this equal to this by this. Now let's see. OD by AD. OD by AD is equal to OF by FC. So we got this by this equal to this by this. Therefore, DF is parallel to AC. What is the reason? Converse of BPT. Be careful when giving reason. You need to know whether it's converse of BPT or it is BPT. When will you say the reason is BPT? If they have told you the lines are parallel. If you have to prove lines are parallel, it means you have to use converse of BPT. Alright guys, one more problem we'll try. This is the given figure. OFD, ABCE. Alright. What has been given? AB is parallel to D. See, it will be in word format, but I'll just write it like this. Even in our test, we have directly given you this. Generally in books and exams, what they'll tell, AB is parallel to D. That is what they're going to write. So you can simplify it and write it like this. I hope you guys can understand by following this itself. Alright. So AB is parallel to D. AB is parallel to DE. So this is what they have given. And BC is parallel to EF. So BC is parallel to EF. This is what they have given. We have to prove AC is parallel to DF. We have to prove that this is parallel to this. So to prove this is parallel to this, what do we need to prove? This by this is equal to this by this. Alright. Now this by this equal to this by this, if you have to prove, generally whenever you have to prove this, we have to prove that this by this and this by this are equal to the same thing. Now see what has been given. BA is parallel to ED. So can you find a triangle in which BA and ED come? You can consider these triangles. While solving triangles, you need to quickly gauge. Like you have to learn how to select triangles, which triangle to use. So you can see this triangle, right? BA and ED come in this triangle. So it will be something like this. Right? So this is O, E, D, A, B. So this, it is like this. So what is given? This is parallel to this. So in triangle OED, what do we have? AB parallel to ED. So you can write like this in exam. It looks very nice. Alright. Since AB is parallel to ED, what do we get? OB by BE equal to OA by AD. Right? This by this or this by this equal to this by this. It is best if you, when you select a triangle, draw it separately. So you will not have any problems. You can easily see things, right? So OB by B, because if you take it from here, you might make a mistake and think of this and get confused. So it's always best to draw it separately. Now, in the previous problem, I forgot to write this. Why is OB by B equal to OA by AD? Because BPT. Here you will give the reason as BPT. Why? Because they have told you it is parallel and you have to get this, which means it is BPT. Right? Then, in what is the other triangle? What is the other thing they have given? BC parallel to EF. So BC and EF come in this triangle, right? So how will it look? It will look like, it looks something like this. Right? And this will be O, this will be F, this will be E and C, B. So this is the triangle we have to take, and they have said this is parallel to this. So in triangle OFE, BC is parallel to FE. So therefore what do we get? OC by CF equal to OB by B. What is the reason? BPT. Basic proportionality theorem. So we get this by this equal to this by this. Now in exam you need to mark this as 1 and this as 2, and this is how we will write from 1 and 2. What do we have? OB by B is equal to this and OB by B is equal to this. So this and this are equal to the same thing, therefore they are equal to each other. We get OA by AD equal to OC by CF. Right? This is what we get by Euclid's geometry. Like generally it's not very necessary to write, but in case your teachers insist, what is the reason? From Euclid's geometry. Or you can write the theorem itself. You can write, because things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. That will be the reason. I don't have space to write here. So what will be the reason for this? Things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. That is what we are going to write. Now we got this. Now we got, what did we get? OC by CF. OC by CF equal to OA by AD. OA by AD. So in triangle OFD, the whole triangle, what do we have? OA by AD equal to OC by CF. This is what you have. You got this by this equal to this by this. Therefore, AC parallel to FD. What is the reason? Converse of BPT. So we proved this by this equal to this by this. Hence, this is parallel to this. So guys, remember, when they have given you parallel, you will find this by this equal to this by this. The reason is BPT. If you have to prove it is parallel, you will get this by this and this by this equal, and then you will say it's parallel. That is converse of BPT.